I'm just waiting on. All right, you're live. Hello. We welcome you to tonight's meeting of the Buchanan Community School Board of Education. All regular meetings have been posted on our website, in our central office, and in each district school building. Tonight's agenda has been posted on our website and emailed out to the BCS Board of Education Community subscription. Our school board members received the agenda and all supporting documents for reports and action items several days prior to the scheduled meeting, so they can review information, prepare questions or comments, and are ready to participate in the discussion and votes that encompass the duties. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. The Buchanan Community School Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters as indicated during the public comment portion of the agenda. We request that each interested participant complete and turn in a public comment card to ensure responses can be appropriately addressed. Thank you for your support of Buchanan Community Schools. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's okay. I was like, are you okay?
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Brackett.
Here.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Ms. Lesh here. Dr. Carlin absent. Dr. Burnett.
Here.
And Ms. Berry.
Here. All right. First, we have adoption of our agenda.
I move the agenda for the regular board meeting of March 16th, 2026 be adopted as written. Support.
Questions or comments? And roll call, please.
Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Brackett.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett.
Yes.
And Ms. Berry.
Yes. All right, we have a packed house tonight. It's been a while, so thank you all for being here. I think we have some good presentations coming up. And we'll move on to the points of pride.
So every month we do Buck Staff Appreciation, and this month's nominees or March nominees are Brandon Flowers, Buchanan High School Guidance Counselor, Eric Johansson, Buchanan High School Social Studies Teacher, Jennifer Michaels, Moccasin Special Education Teacher, Jennifer Schmidt-Kuntz, Bus Driver, Jessica Maurer, Elementary Physical Education Teacher, Jessica Monsma, GSRP Teacher, Jessica Walker, Moccasin Administrative Assistant, Kimberly Kepler, Buchanan High School Cook's Help, Christine Reddig, Second Grade Teacher, Percy Tobar, Bus Driver, Tammy Regglesworth, Business Service Specialist, and Sandra Miller, Buchanan High School Art Teacher. And this month's winner is Sandra Miller. And I will read what is submitted. Sandra Miller truly makes Buchanan a great place to learn. She has impacted my senior's life since she was in middle school. When my daughter went out for middle school track with never having ran before, Miss Miller was so kind and supportive throughout the entire season. No matter where she places in races, fast forward to my daughter's final year of high school. Miss Miller's ceramics class is the highlight of her day. She can't wait to get to class each day, welcomed by Miss Miller's smiling face. Sandra deserves recognition for her kind heart, caring ways, and being an absolute amazing educator that students will remember way beyond their years at Buchanan High School. Thank you, Sandra, for all you do to make Buchanan Community Schools great. Stacy Dennison. On behalf of the Board of Education and Administration of Buchanan Community Schools, we thank you for your service and encourage you to keep up the great level of achievement and service to our district. Congratulations.
And you get a certificate.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a photo.
From my sickness. Okay, where do I stand and what do I do? Yeah, you can. No, I didn't say that. I tried not to like.
wanted to say just real quick about the appreciation. We get these every month, and then we get to read. There's so many from their coworkers to parents. It's just so neat to read, and there's just a variety. So thank you for those that take the time to submit them. We appreciate them.
We appreciate it too.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats.
All right, next up, we have the Science Olympiad team.
Yeah, we have the Science Olympiad team. Chris, do you want to have any words? I know you were there.
I was there, and it's a lot of fun. Got to see, a lot of it's online, and they're going to talk about that. So I kind of hang out in the gym and get to see some of the things they build, and I couldn't do it. I don't know where they come up with their ideas, but it's cool.
Thank you. So Mr. Cribley is coming up to speak on behalf of the team, along with some of his team members.
You bet. Well, good evening, Buchanan Board. I'm Byron Cribley. I'm the science teacher here at Buchanan High School, and we took another group of students to compete in Science Olympiad this year, and we're excited to announce that we have our A-team competition coming up with the elementary kids, so looking forward to that. But this year with our middle school division being the B team, we took 11 students. All 11 were first-year participants, so we were able to incorporate some new students and some new faces, and those are our 8th and 9th grade students. And even being first-year members, of the 20 events that they competed in, we got first or second and placed in 12 of those. So that's really exciting for our first-year members, just to know that, hey, there's something tangible that you can be given with a medal or a trophy or whatever else, but it's more important that it's more you committed to a project, you worked the process, and you were able to go compete against other students of equal science capabilities and to outperform some of those other schools in our county. Is a great recognition. So we hope that that trend continues with our science programs and our students going on to the C team. Our C team also had 12 kids that we took, and they were able to bring home a total of 9 different medals. Overall, our 23 students that we took from the high school, 17 of which got first or second, which is an outstanding accomplishment for our kids. We look forward to this every year, and this year we were invited as our B team to compete at Michigan State for the state competition by getting 4th in our regional division. And our C team members, we had 2 students win the event, and so just by winning, they get a chance to compete as well. So we will be doing that at the end of April. But I did invite 2 of our students in to be able to share their experiences with you about what Science Olympiad means to them and to be able to receive recognition from you all. And again, we thank you for inviting us in to recognize the faces that make this program possible. So I have Riley Carlson and Lila Sierra, both members from the B team, and would like to take a minute of your time to share their thoughts with you. So I'll turn it over to them.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Riley Carlson. I first heard about Science Olympiad from my older sister Cameron. She competed first in her COVID year virtually, and she only got 2 second-place medals. So she's done it every year since then, and she really talked all the time about her experiences and how much she loved it and how fun it was for her. And I really thought that after she had done it, that I should try it. And I got 1 first-place medal and 2 second-place medals.
Right.
Me and my partner, we did 5 events, and we placed out of 3 out of the 5. You can get most of them are test events, and the one that we got second place in was a build event, and you have to build a structure, go fill in the parameters for it, and then the most weight it carries, you get scored by its mass divided by times its weight or something. I didn't read the rules that well. And it was really just a fun experience, It was really cool that we got to miss a day of school. Probably the best part. Also, I heard that we got free food.
Okay.
Great. It was just a really fun experience. Everybody was so nice, and it was really cool just to be able to participate in that.
I'm Lila Sierra, and I heard it from my friend, Mackenzie Wetzel. She did Science Olympian last year, well, a couple of years ago. But I wanted to do it last year, but I couldn't because I was not eligible to do it. And I did it this year because I was eligible, and I was really happy. And we did 4 events. We did experimental design, rocks and minerals, entomology, and dynamic planet.
we got second place in experimental design, which is technically, it's like a science thing where you have to like, it was like something about separate oil from water or something. And my partner had to write stuff down while I did the experiment because I am a hands-on person, not a writing person. Rocks and minerals, we had to say which rocks are which. That was on my partner. I didn't know any of that. Entomology was where you have to guess which insect was what. We barely got what that was. We got 5th place for that. We barely answered any of those questions because we could not see any of the pictures. And then for Dynamic Planet, it was something about oceans and stuff, and we got 7th place for that. I thought I did good on that. I told her we wanted to do solar system. She said no. But we are doing that for state. So, and then what inspired me to do it, I love science. Science has always been my thing. And, oh wow, I hate talking to the people.
You are.
So, yeah, that's what inspired me to do it, because science, and I have a really cool biology teacher, Mr. Cribley. He also inspired me to do it, so, yeah.
Good job. Thank you. I have a question. How are you guys preparing for the state champion or competition?
What?
How are you preparing for the state competition?
Well, we get to choose new things, and when we choose new topics, we don't have to do the same topics as we did for this competition. Like, I wanted to do solar system for this competition, but my partner said no because she didn't know any of it, which I did. But we are doing solar system and rocks and minerals again, and then we're doing some other stuff, probably a building event.
Okay. Nice. All right. Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah, great.
And I can add to that. We appreciate the opportunity to do science, and as was mentioned, a lot of the events are either test your knowledge. There's some that are build events, and there's some that are hybrids. And so our first-year members get a chance to kind of figure out what things they like in science. And I think Lila said it great, where oftentimes these students just do enjoy science, and now we get them into a competition with certain parameters. So when they prepare as best they can for the regional level, there's a new second set of more restrictor, more tougher challenges at the state level. So as Riley was describing with their event, they have to hold a certain mass at a certain distance, and then those parameters change for the state level. So they have to take their device and re-engineer it and reapply the math and their formulas for it to make sure that it works within those new constraints. So our science department that we do here does a fair amount of our engineering practices to be able to help with that, and we're fortunate to be able to have the support with our academic clubs like we do have here in Science Olympiad. And so we'll look forward to our state competition next month, and we'll look forward to continuing to have the program grow and build and continue to allow kids an opportunity to do what they do best and learn and show off. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And great job presenting. Next, we just have a recognition for the BHS band receiving their Division I ratings at Festival.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yep.
Yeah. All right. And then there's a few press releases that were released.
Yeah.
Press releases released.
Yeah, this meeting has turned out to be a meeting of celebrations. So we had a lot of activity this past month. So for this one, just quickly, I want to lift up Mrs. Frost, who's part of a team at the state level within the science department. They did receive a mini grant, and this grant will allow them to what it says, the grant honors the dedication of the Buchanan High School science teacher, Melissa Frost, whose efforts in securing this funding will bring transformative educational opportunities to Buchanan students. This project focuses on the collaborative development of schoolyard ecological monitoring across Michigan. By establishing a student-led cross-district network, they'll facilitate the collection and exchange of environmental data to investigate how campus landscapes contribute to both biodiversity and community well-being. So it is a very heavy project that they're going to be doing, but she and a few others from across the state actually secured this grant and will be able to be part of it, and it was with her efforts. So thank you, Mrs. Frost, for actually going after these grants, writing them. Grants are not easy to write either, so it takes a lot of time to do that and do the research behind it. So we appreciate her and the work in that. Also, we were able to, there was a press release that was sent out this past Friday, really celebrating the work around the anonymous donor and the renovation of the baseball field, the Ryan A. Tucker Field. There's a nice scoreboard out there. The field looks fabulous, and it's ready for this season. So we are excited about that. And there were many people who were part of this work. I know the board, we've had several meetings on it. Katie and Chris, as well as Jake, being part of the conversations around this work. We definitely appreciate you, and I know the boys and the just the whole community are appreciative and excited about this renovation.
I wanted to say real quick, I thought it was neat that Mr. Macbeth knew him and then mentioned that in a press release, and then also Gateway. Michael Rowland mentioned a lot of people knew him personally, went to school with him, so I thought those comments in the press releases were very cool to see too. So community, I should say, big community participation and appreciation. So. And then I'll do the last press release was for the school farm. I'm just going to read the press release because I don't want to forget anything. But this last weekend, Buchanan Community Schools is proud to announce that Buchanan School Farm Barn has been selected as the recipient of the prestigious 2026 Barn of the Year Award presented by the Michigan Barn Preservation Network. This award, which is the MBPN's highest honor, recognizes barns and owners that best exemplify the mission of preserving Michigan iconic agricultural structures and rich farming heritage. The Buchanan School Farm was selected by a panel of 9 judges from a competitive pool of entries across the state. The nomination was a collaborative effort led by the Buchanan School Farm Advisory Council. The district would like to recognize the dedication committee members who worked hard and stewardship made this distinction possible. Mr. Mark Nixon, Kelly Lesh, Al Whitfield, Jeff Bailey, Ben Davidson, Ryan Maston, Melanie Burdak, Melissa Frost, and Monica Luke. This recognition is a testament to the dedication of our community and the School Farm Advisory Council, said Monica Luke. Council members, preserving this barn isn't just about maintaining a building, it's about honoring Buchanan's agricultural roots and providing a unique living classroom for our students. We are incredibly proud of the work our council has done to protect this local landmark. And then we went Saturday, Ms. Robinson and a few, myself, Mr. Nixon, Monica, and Ms. Frost went to receive, we received a plaque. We received this nice plaque, but then we received a great big, 2026 Barn of the Year, which is in the press release picture. Pretty cool. And then we just want to say, too, that to save the date in this press release, we made sure just to celebrate the farm on April 18th is our annual Plow Day and Pancake Breakfast, which is Saturday, April 18th from 8:30 to 2, so come on out. And then my last pitch is going to be, we always are looking for people to participate on the advisory council. And we just need, that passion, the community involvement. And if anybody's interested, please send them my way. We'll get them an application, but always looking for help. We'll take it. So thank you. And congratulations to the school farm. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Definitely some highlights.
Yeah.
All right, anything else anybody wants to add to the points of pride? No? All right, move on to the superintendent and department reports.
Yep, just as a reminder, the board does receive a report from each department and each building administrator every month where they are reporting on highlights from their buildings, what's happening, keeping the board apprised of everything that is happening month to month.
And we appreciate everybody taking the time to fill those out. I read them. I think that's great information for quick, just knowing what's going on, because you guys are doing a ton.
All right, I think the excitement starts now with the presentation. So first
Yes.
up, we have the moccasin presentation from Mr. Babcock.
I have a slideshow coming up here too.
Is that right in front of us, right?
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's playing with us.
Wait, it left.
We have it here too, just in
Oh,
case
you can
we're
see
looking
it?
here. Yep. Chat, Phil. There we go.
Okay. President Barry, Mrs. Robinson, members of the board, thank you for giving me the opportunity to showcase a few positive things that are happening at Moccasin. At Moccasin, we are dedicated to creating a safe and positive learning environment where students will achieve grade level skills. Over the past 2 years, we have expanded the number of extracurricular opportunities for Moccasin students. We feel that providing these opportunities can improve academic performance, mental health, social skills, friendships, teamwork, and competitiveness. Over the next 5-10 minutes, I will highlight 6 programs that are providing crucial benefits to our students. We understand that there are certain benefits to exercise for boys and girls, which is why we wanted to start a running club. A couple of those are physical activity can stimulate growth hormones. Studies show that kids who exercise regularly show better impulse control and perform better on standardized tests. And an additional benefit is that exercise is a natural stress buster. So those are just a few additional reasons why we wanted to start a running club at Moccasin. So last spring, we began this club. For about 2 months in the spring last year, we had practices on Mondays and Fridays after school. The perimeter of our playground is approximately a quarter of a mile, so just like a regular lap around a track. We would have 4 to 5 adults posted at each station where kids were assigned, and when they ran around the perimeter, that adult would mark a slash mark for every time they went around. And you even see the principals enjoying running club as well. So here's the really good news about what's going on at Moccasin with these extracurricular activities. Like I said, last year we began in the spring of 2025. 56 students attended for 3 or more days. We did it again this year. We had a lot of success, and look at that expansion. Fall 2025, 93 students participated in 3 or more days. Kids, parents, they're eating this stuff up. They love to get out there and exercise. Participants, look at that, completed anywhere from 3 to 22 miles. A marathon is 26.2 miles. So we have some students getting close to running a marathon in a couple months. That's fantastic. Students would be recognized with badges for running a 3K, which is 5.1 miles.
No, a 5K is 3.2.
No, 5K. Okay, I'm off on that one. But 3K, 5K, a half marathon, and a marathon. And then we're going to do it again this spring in 2026. Practices will begin April 13th, so we'll do the same type of program a couple days a week for a couple months. Next, Girls on the Run. So Girls on the Run is a girl empowerment organization that inspires participants to be joyful, healthy, and confident using evidence-based lessons. Okay, so Why is this important? Our programs boost girls' self-worth, their self-confidence, and, of course, physical activity. And at the end of the season, the girls come to Benton Harbor at Whirlpool, and they participate in a 5K. Last year we had 13 girls participating, and this year we have 23 girls signed up. We're in our second week of practices. A lot of those practices happen inside, weather like today, and some happen outside on our playground. And at this time, I'd like to bring up fourth grade student May Hines, who's one of our Girls on the Run participants, to talk about her experiences.
My name is May Hines, and this is my second year as a member of Girls on the Run. Girls on the Run is not just about running, but is also about serving the community and building positive relationship with other girls at Moccasin, especially with the people that are not in my class or grade. Here are a few of my favorite things about Girls on the Run. We have done community service by picking up trash on the Moccasin playground and other city parks. Sometimes during practices, we run laps and then switch partners every lap in order to get to know different people. Some of our lessons are about building confidence and expressing what we're feeling and talking about standing up for ourselves. But my most favorite thing is strengthening relationships with my friends and getting to know new people. I also like running inside instead of running outside on the playground. When we run inside, we can run as fast as we can in the hallways. This is something that we can never do during the school day.
I could tell you the custodians love it when the kids are running inside. A couple other clubs that are going on at Moccasin. We have a choir club and an art club. Choir club was going on in the fall. Those are once-a-week practices at Moccasin. They were able to successfully have 3 concerts, one in the fall, winter, and spring, and 15 fourth grade students participated in choir. Art club is going on right now. In fact, tonight we had several students participate in the art room, and that coincides with the empty bowls. So we have second and third grade students staying after school during this month making bowls. And then on the horizon, we have a STEM club, science, technology, engineering, and math. This is something that the second grade team wants to pilot with just second grade students at this time. They're going to have 2 meetings, one in April and one in May. Okay, so we're looking forward to that. And then new this year, we have Spelling Bee. So very exciting. On March 5th, students in their classrooms participated in a classroom spelling bee. It was a written test. And from those, from our 15 classrooms, we have 2 winners per classroom. So we're going to have 30 participants participate next Monday, a week from tonight, in this auditorium for a school-wide competition. 30 students up on this stage participating in front of dozens and dozens of people, okay? So that should be very exciting. The students who prepared for the March 5th written test, they were given a list of 50 words to study. The finalists who are participating on Monday the 23rd are given a list of 450 words to study and prepare for. So the format that you see on TV, on ESPN, the Scripps National Spelling Bee, that's what's going to go on here on Monday evening. The mastermind behind our spelling bee is Mrs. Gregory, and she's going to get up here and say a word or two.
I just wanted to take a moment to invite all of the board members and the Superintendent Robinson to come and watch the spelling bee on Monday. It's going to be really exciting, and I know the kids who have advanced are really excited. They come up and they're like, do we have to have this accent when we're saying our words? And what do we do if we spell it wrong? So they're getting really excited. So if you are available to come next Monday at 6, it'll be a good time.
What was the time again? Sorry, I missed the
6
one.
p.m. on Monday at the high school.
Thank you.
Mrs. Gregory came up to me in the hallway the other day, last week, and she's like, Mike, what do you think about a science Olympiad? And I'm just saying, Lisa, slow down here a little bit. Slow down. We're 2 years into this, so, but that's probably on the horizon for next year.
Cool.
And in closing, we'll finish with a PBIS report. Many of you know what PBIS is, but in case you don't, it's Positive Behavior Intervention Supports. Most schools have this in place to create a positive learning environment in their buildings. Every year during the month of January, early on in January, we have Barry and Risa come over and meet with our PBIS team, and they do what's called a tiered fidelity inventory. It's a check to see how we're doing as a building with the implementation process of PBIS. We're in year 3 of PBIS at Moccasin, and you can see the growth that we're making according to our report. The team grades ourselves. Okay, it's led, like I said, by Risa, and we grade ourselves a 0, a 1, or 2 in several categories. So you see year 1, we were at 33% compliant in tier 1. And we're in tier 1 because we're in the beginning stages. In year 2, we got to 50%, and this past year, we bumped up to 67% compliant in the tier 1 areas. So what is Moccasin doing well? We're teaching expectations. Where are we teaching them? We're teaching them inside the classroom, and we're teaching them in the hallways throughout the building. What else are we doing well? We're understanding behavior expectations. And how do we reinforce this? With frequent review. For example, last week during lunches, we talked to the students, we reviewed recess and cafeteria expectations. Teachers are also doing this as often as possible in their classrooms. We have visuals, we have posters throughout the building letting kids know, how to behave in the hallway, how to be respectful, responsible, and safe in the hallway. What else is Moccasin doing well? We're analyzing discipline data. We do that at staff meetings. We do that within the PBIS team meetings that we have monthly. We're also doing well with problem behaviors defined. That is, what type of behaviors should be addressed within the classroom by the classroom teacher, and what behaviors should be addressed by the administration. So we do a good job of identifying that. We feel that Moccasin has a strong system of rewards for respectful, responsible, and safe behaviors. Once a week, we recognize our students who are being respectful, responsible, and safe. Each students have the opportunity to earn a ticket, and you see the young man on the right putting a ticket in the all-school ticket box. We pull those tickets, and on Friday afternoon, they can come to the office, and they can either get a toy, like one of those little squishy things, or a pencil, or like fidgets, things like that, or a coin from the book vending machine, which are very popular. And I can tell you this. This is honest here. Students, when I ask them, would you get like a toy or a token from the book vending machine? 75%, since we got that book vending machine, are picking the tokens for the books, which is fantastic. Some of them might still think that there's a bag of chips in there, but I believe at this point they know that there's books in there, so that's great news. So that is Moccasin's presentation. So are there any questions?
Oh, good job.
I'm excited to see the spelling bee back.
Yeah.
I was in the spelling bee while I was at Moccasin myself. I came in second, but my class is valedictorian 1, so that's okay. But I'm really glad to hear that back, and
Yeah.
that's awesome.
I have a question on how they have seconds. I'll have to meet up with you, what we do then.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Doing great things.
The positivity continues.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have our strategic plan. We see it here, so it's coming.
It's coming? Okay. I'm gonna have to practice with this clicker too. I don't know which way to.
I know, I
Which
don't know
one?
where you pointed. Is it down there? Do we go down there and X out on that thing? Last night, that's what he said. I feel like you have to X out of it, or it will show up on the screen. Oh, he's got it.
All right. All right, so good evening, everybody. This is an exciting time. So we've had lots of special presentations so far, and tonight we are excited to present this to you. This work actually began last year in March when we began the interview process of choosing a facilitator for this great work. So we are at the end of that, and we have reached a great milestone where we are able to present our strategic plan for 2026 through 2031 to you, for you to approve and us to begin some great work moving on in these next few years. This plan represents months of listening, collaboration, and careful thought about what we want for our students, staff, and community. This plan represents months of, and I want to begin by saying this is truly a community-driven plan. This was not created behind closed doors. We had lots and lots of input from multiple folks across Buchanan. So our agenda consists of us sharing the strategic planning process, presenting the proposed vision, mission, and beliefs. We're going to highlight our 3 goal areas. Then we're going to shift to how progress will be monitored and sustained. As we go through the presentation, you please feel free to jot down any questions, and then we'll answer those questions at the end of the presentation. So I would like to first talk about Rachel Fader. She was our facilitator throughout this process. Some of you have been able to meet her, some may not have, but just a little bit about her. She has 30-plus years of experience in education. Most recently, she was the implementation and improvement coordinator for Michigan statewide field team. She worked there, and that was a grant funded, so now the grant is gone away. In Rochester Community Schools, she served as a teacher, assistant principal, and then in Birmingham Public Schools as a high school principal, deputy superintendent, and interim superintendent. In addition to that, she started her own consulting firm. She worked with our superintendents probably for the last 3 years in our county, and she has also expanded that work throughout the state of Michigan. So she's very familiar with facilitating groups large and small, and we are excited to have her share some additional information about this process. Rachel, you want to come on up?
Thank you so much. Good evening, and I am very excited to be here and maybe just a teeny bit sad because this process has come to an end and it's been a really wonderful year. So I want to just begin by thanking you because I remember our interview and it seemed like yesterday. This has gone so quickly. But really thank you for entrusting me with this process. Tonight, we are going to walk you through the process that we followed and also the priorities that emerged from it. But I also want to just acknowledge one of the overarching things that I cannot proceed without sharing is that part of the work, as we just heard, that I engage in across the state allows me to be privileged enough to kind of embed myself in communities, and especially in the kind of work around strategic planning. And one thing that's really become apparent for me in spending time here in Buchanan is not just the pride that you have in your schools, but the dedication. And that dedication comes from each of the stakeholder groups with whom I've engaged over this year, without fail. And it was so fun to sit here for the first part of your board meeting because I thought, oh, I recognize them. And there was even a kid from the picture who was part of our a listening session, maybe the one at the vending machine. And you know, that one of the people who spoke earlier was also on one of our subgroups. So just all across the board, people's commitment to making Buchanan even stronger has been a real highlight. So I want to begin by just thanking some groups in particular, and as we hearken back to what this process encompassed, we had 15 listening sessions, and that spanned every possible group you can imagine that you actually named this evening. So community members, folks from the farm, board members, I've had a chance to interact with most all of you. We also had listening sessions with students, with staff, with administrators. And then we've had 2 comprehensive community surveys that went out. Also, we had one in Spanish so that there was not a language barrier. We also engaged in 2 full working retreat days with one of the core groups that did a lion's share of the work. And I'm not great with football. My husband often coaches me on this part, but you know, getting it near the goal line. Is that right? Okay, getting it near the goal line. And then who crossed the goal line? This ongoing committee, this monthly core planning committee that many of whom are here this evening and presenting alongside. And then we also had ad hoc meetings. So we had a quick meeting here and there. And I just really want to make sure I thank everyone that's listed on this slide, from the parents to teachers to the staff, the students, the faculty at large who showed up for the listening sessions that we held at each of the school buildings, community members, and the working group teams. So let's proceed to the next slide, and I'd like to just acknowledge those folks, or do I do it? I'm sorry. Do I advance?
Try. Yeah,
oh, I didn't realize. Okay, sorry.
There you go.
Thank you. Great. Let's take a look, and I would love to just acknowledge these are folks who were at the actual retreat. And that retreat, what we did is take all of the results from the 2 surveys that were issued, and we took a look and said, okay, how do we disaggregate all of this data? How do we make sense of it and get the ball rolling with what we think? The committee also introduced me, importantly, to walking tacos, which I had never had before. Thank you for that. We then took that and we submitted drafts that became the foundation for the core team. But I just want to pause and just say, very unusual makeup. Again, we had students. We had former board members. We have current board members. we had staff, we had administrators. What a great diverse group. And community representation as well. Our next group was the core planning team, and boy, did we have a lot of sweat equity in the process. We met, and I said at the beginning, I think we're okay with, once a month. Well, twice a month. Could we kind of jam 2 meetings in for the week? We're getting close to the end. No one backed away from that the whole time, and so just I want to formally acknowledge this team. Incredible professionalism, diligence there, and it's notable that even when school was canceled for your snow days, and I felt so guilty because, of course, when we had snow days, that's when we also happened to have these meetings scheduled, and people showed up on Zoom just diligently. So thank you. A very special shout out, I now affectionately call her M&M, but Michelle Munyon, who's done amazing work behind the scenes throughout this whole process to make things go more smoothly. Thank you, Michelle. So let's then just review. We talked about the listening across the students, staff, families, and community. And then we took a look at and reviewed data systems and current practices, engaged in collaborative development of draft priorities and goals, and then came this iterative refinement. And I want to pause here because part of what we sought to do, and as many districts are encountering depending on when that juncture happened, a lot of teams did their very best across the state of Michigan during COVID, but found that strategic planning either was interrupted, delayed, some people waived it during that time. But these past couple of years have been very important years to reset and to say, okay, here we go, and this is the plan, and we don't have a bunch of contingency issues to deal with now. And so all of that's been extremely useful. And when we talk about the refining and aligning the plan into a shared direction forward, I think what I want to lift most of all is that not only do we say we're about continuous improvement as a school system, but we really developed that and baked it into the strategic plan. So what you will see this evening is a plan that is set forth, but with the real deep understanding that while things are set for 5 years, they're in what I call close to finished cement, but it's still wet. And it's really important that it stay that way, because if we are about what we say we are as a group of educators, we want to be able to engage in refinement as we go along and pivot to needs that present themselves with immediacy. So we have a plan. We will stick to the basic precepts of the plan, but as you get further into the years, you'll see some room for development. And with that, I'd love to turn it back over to Superintendent Robinson, who's going to talk about the vision, the mission, and our core beliefs that were developed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so part of the work, we began by grounding ourselves in who we are and who we want to become. And a lot of that was done started during the 2-day retreat that we had. And then the core team took that and kind of deciphered it, and we massaged it, and we came up with our vision. And our vision is we strive to prepare learners academically to think critically, prioritize well-being, and emerge as respectful citizens who lead with integrity. So as they leave our district, this is who we're going to mold students into. Okay. And what drives us every day is our mission. And so you'll see that this is always in action. So Buchanan Community Schools, leading with heart, learning with pride, and empowering students to succeed each day. So every day we are leading, learning, and empowering. And then I have in my head LOE, so we can kind of promote that a little bit. These statements reflect what we heard from the community, that Buchanan is a district with pride, heart, and deep care for students. In addition to that, we talked about our beliefs, and you have the definitions there in your packet. But those big core areas are community, well-being, growth, and kindness. These are not just words, they are guideposts for how we want students to experience school and how we want to operate as a district. At this time, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the work and talk about the goals. So we kind of decided upon 3 big goal buckets. And these represent the core focus of the strategic plan: teaching and learning, facilities and infrastructure, accountability, and operations. Together, these goals create a balanced plan focused on student success, the learning environment, and the systems that support long-term improvement. We are incredibly fortunate that our Director of Educational Services, Lacey Payne, was able to join us for the latter part of this work, and she will be introducing the bedrock of all we do in BCS, our first goal of teaching and learning.
Thank you. As Trish said, the first goal is really the heart of the work and is the engine that drives everything else. Without teaching and learning, what else do we have? We are a learning institution. It's important to have that at our foundation. So by 2031, Buchanan Community Schools will implement a cohesive learning model that integrates academic rigor and well-being, results in an increased student engagement and academic growth as measured by the district and state assessments. This is a lofty goal. We know that it is something that we are going to have to all kind of have continuity around and work really hard towards, but I think we've got a great foundation to work with, and we're moving in the right direction. As was shared earlier, I had a wonderful team that I was able to join in December. This dynamic team really made it a super impression on me and the work that they were doing and the heart of all the things that they were doing, and they really had a desire to increase student outcomes. This team comprised of Stacy Dennison, the Ottawa Elementary principal, Casey Macbeth, the Moccasin Elementary instructional coach, and Tori Bowerman, our instructional coach, right? So she's actually going to take over for me. I would like to introduce her at this time, and she's going to tell you a little bit about our success statement.
Thank you, Lacey. So the first thing that we want to be true by 2031 is that every educator in our district is using instructional practices that we know work. Practices backed by research and tied directly to our district's priorities, teaching in a way in which evidence tells us that's most effective for our students. Secondly, we want to see measurable growth. We targeted a minimum of 10% increase in students meeting or exceeding proficiency on our district and standardized assessments by 2031, and that number matters. It's a direct reflection of what's happening in our classroom every day. The third one, engagement. Everyone in the teaching and learning process becomes more engaged. That means teachers, students, support staff, all of us are more present and invested during our instructions and our classroom activities. I'm going to let Lacey cover the last two up there.
Stacy was going to share this part, but I'm going to step in for her because unfortunately she's not feeling well today. So the other two areas in box 4 and 5 really focus in around professional development and the work of the PLC. By aligning our professional development to district priorities, we guarantee a consistent and high-quality learning experience for all students in the classroom rather than just pockets of excellence. All of our students deserve 110% all the time. The PLC component is in box 5. PLCs allow teams to identify exactly where the students are struggling in real time and adjust instruction immediately, rather than waiting until the end of a unit or the end of a semester at a marking period time. That's intentional work that's already in place, but we're going to continue to polish and improve as we go through this continuous improvement and next stage of our strategic plan. We are excited to implement the teaching and learning goal and look forward to increasing student outcomes. At this time, I would like to introduce our facilitator.
Thank you. All right, so we are now on goal 2. So Goal 2 and Goals 3, they were worked on by our team, Jenny Brackett and Phil Place. And then you'll kind of see how both of these goals fit right into Jenny's and Phil's personality. And I was just there for the ride, I don't know. But anyway, so Goal 2, facilities and infrastructure. Our second goal area focuses on that, where we are providing safe, accessible, and ready learning environments that is essential for student success. So by 2031, BCS will develop and implement a prioritized facilities plan that addresses the deficiencies identified in the 2025 facility study, and many of you are familiar with that study, so we're using that as a basis. So the success statements for this goal area include creating and annually updating a district-wide priority list, reviewing accessibility benchmarks each year, correcting life safety deficiencies like fire systems, doors, and emergency lighting, aligning upgrades with the district's annual budget and capital plan, conducting yearly facilities reviews that show steady improvement over time. This goal gives structure and clarity to long-term facility stewardship and for years to come. So Jenny?
Okay, as Trish mentioned, I was a part of both the facilities and infrastructure, as well as the accountability and operations, and it is kind of in my wheelhouse because I like documentation. So I'll just tell you a little bit about what that is. The third goal of accountability and operations are really the systems that make the district sustainable and consistent. We wanted to be able to have the same processes in place year after year after year. And by 2031, our goal statement here is by 2031, Buchanan Community Schools will establish comprehensive accountability and operational procedures that are accessible and reviewed annually. And that's by everyone in the district. So our success statements for this are that we will have a documented district-wide list of procedures that we need to be following. We'll have an internal repository where staff can access the support materials. There will be annual review cycles of the documentation so that we keep it current as things adjust and change. And we'll also have a culture of continuous improvement shaped by staff feedback as we work through these processes. So the goal that really surfaced for me as we were wrapping this up was about clarity, consistency, and good stewardship of what it is that we've been entrusted with. And I think it is back to Rachel at this point. Thanks.
You know, and I want to pause here just for a moment because that was a lot of information. and I want to just kind of go high up again. We began talking about what do you dream about for your kids, the vision. What wakes you up every morning as a complete organization, whether you're a teacher, a student, a staff member, a parent, a community member, a board member, that's your mission. What do you believe in? Sort of what grounds you in terms of your core values? Those are those belief statements. And then the three goals, I want to pause because it's interesting. I have several colleagues that I network with who engage in this kind of work. And we've been talking about what is happening that when we first started, and I can say this because I'm an oldie, when we first started back in the day, a lot of strategic plans were all about learning. Every single goal, and sometimes it was 3 to 5 goals, all learning based. And now we're seeing a shift. And as a former high school and middle school principal, I had a mentor who used to say, you can't lead until you've managed well. Which doesn't feel great to say because there's also been this huge shift to leading and learning instead of managing. But there's truth in the fact that if you don't take care of your home and things start to fall apart, you're so busy fixing a leaky roof or this or that, you can't attend to some of these hopes and dreams that we have for our children. when I entered into this contract, the nexus that was happening was the facility study that had just been completed and the emergence of the bond that is being discussed and set forth. And all of that coming together provided real direction that, along with my listening sessions that were a resounding call to attend to the facilities and the operations and the infrastructure while attending to the learning. So I say that by way of sharing that with you. If anyone were to ask, well, wait, explain to me why we have 2 goals that are around that area. It's because we listened. And that came through in the surveys and it came through in the discussion. So in my introduction, we talked just a little bit about implementation, which was my former role. And so that's why I was assigned kind of the next few slides. And we want to talk a little bit about what does success look like in practice. If I'm a member of one of the committees of those 3 goal areas, and I get the phone call from one of the principals or from one of the team members, and they say, will you be on this committee? We'll provide treats. We'll do whatever, but would you please just join this committee? And envision they're at their first meeting. What does it look like and what are the guideposts? And it's really important because this is where strategic plans can fall apart. And so kudos to this group that spent a great deal of time saying, first what, then what, then what, if this, then what. And to you, the board, how will you know in 5 years when you circle back to this, which I hope I will be back here to see, that you can say, we were really successful and here were the measures and here's how we know. So let's dive in a little bit. I spoke to this notion of improvement science and continuous improvement. It's both a compliance thing. You have to do a report every year as a district on continuous improvement. That's called MyKIP. And your new director, Lacey Payne, will be working closely on that MyKIP process. But beyond compliance, it's a way of being. And it gets into, we plan something, which is what just happened. Then we're going to implement it. And then it's the job of everyone on the committee and the system to monitor it and say, how are things going? And how many times do we monitor? Is it monthly? Is it yearly? Is it twice a year? And then it's important along with that monitoring to then take a breath and say, how do we adjust? Just like we're doing right now based on the previous strategic plan. So when we look at that, it's really embracing monitoring, and it also is a very polite and natural but important way to hold each other accountable to what we say we're going to do. So what I want to do is kind of talk a little bit about the goal areas are designed in as living commitments. And as it unfolds, and I said this earlier about the wet cement, we want to leave enough room to refine strategies to ensure the continuous improvement and impact are occurring the way it was intended. These next couple of slides, the first 2 should look familiar because you just saw them in the presentations. What we wanted to do was, as much as I love you all, we knew we didn't want to do a sleepover tonight. We're previewing one implementation area for one goal. And Superintendent Robinson will follow up in your board update or right after this meeting with the whole implementation for each of the goal areas. A huge thank you to Michelle Munyon, who took that idea in a meeting that Superintendent Robinson and Michelle and I had talking about marketing and what you do with a strategic plan, how you bring families in, what are your talking points, but also how do you set yourself up for success, because we start now, this year. We start at the tail end of this year preparing for next year. So if you'll indulge me, I took one that's a little bit more black and white. We love the teaching and learning goal, but boy, is that a hefty one. And I wanted one that we could just get into the nitty-gritty a little bit, so I chose facilities and infrastructure. So you saw the goal area, and you saw the success statements, and those will be shared with every single member who is on the committee as they work together. What you didn't see yet is that we needed to identify as a team, that's great. We've said what success looks like, but then what are the strategies? If I'm going to be a successful runner, what are my strategies to get there, to finish that half marathon? And that's as important as knowing what my goal is. So let's just preview this so that you can, I'm not going to read all of these, but just a few key phrases from this. So if I show up to that first meeting and I'm saying, wait a minute, how am I orienting myself? If I'm co-chairing the committee, I'm going to say, well, first off, we're using the life safety deficiencies that were defined in that facility study. And by the way, that's the language that was used. That's not a Rachel Jargon consultant phrase. That's the phrase that was used exactly by your facility study. What's applicable? What are the safety codes and what are the corrective actions we need to take to ensure a safe learning environment? How are we then establishing a cross-functional facilities review process that integrates that study with internal assessments? Because you have an outside person come in, but you all experience things every day. The air conditioner, the sound system, the this or that. So think about it in terms of where the research meets common sense. You all are the practitioners and you live. Just like I know in my home, one of the bedrooms gets really cold and one gets overly hot. You know those things best. So it's important to integrate those two. How do you then also leverage a cross-functional committee, including the facilities and finance committee, to develop, prioritize, and track that priority list? So we referenced a priority list, but the rubber meets the road in that third box. That's a hot topic there, and that will take some time. And then you're ensuring that those goals are aligned to district budgeting. So sometimes you go, wow, this is a priority. We can't tackle it until we get some money for that. So we're going to need to put that one coded as a top priority, but to be addressed perhaps in 8 months instead of in month 1. And then this is the part about accountability, and we talked a lot about this as a committee. Build in a system where it's expected so there aren't surprises, and conduct an annual review. How are we doing? So what is the criteria and the documentation to track progress? And these nitty-gritty items that we're discussing have been laid out in beautifully gorgeous spreadsheets, and I'm not even a spreadsheet gal, but you've got those folks here in district. So they're color-coded, there are boxes to check when you meet the goals and all kinds of goodies. So then, what do you really do? This is the common sense part. And I'm giving this one as an idea because several of these are the same for each of the goals. First thing is, what are we supposed to be doing? Common sense language. Form a team, which needs to happen between now and June, so that next fall you hit the ground running. Develop and create the priority list. That's going to be in there. Discussing the funding sources and so forth. So I'll let you read those. I'm not going to read all of those again. But the two that are the same for every single goal area are forming a team and establishing a meeting calendar and schedule, including an annual review meeting that's likely longer in duration. And whether you're teaching and learning or whether you're in any of the other goals, you're going to have those two things done by June. Why? Because people's calendars are going to fill up. So we want the superintendent, the operations supervisor, the tech director, the business services director, and others potentially involved to have these meetings and say, oh, now I'm scheduling around this because our strategic plan is our driving engine. So you can count on that occurring. And then your team also just hit it out of the park with implementation. As someone who really gets excited about implementation, the detail from year to year was fantastic. So you can see there's preview, just two things, because boy, we're almost already in April by the time you finish and you have your break and all of that. So before the end of the year, you've got the team, the priority list, and a calendar. Next year, it is let's dive in, and we don't have to mess around with all of the niceties of how do we form our team. We're ready to go. And so this is an example of what this goal area would look like for 26, 27. It's disaggregated, and then, oh, and I should have mentioned, and there's one for 27, 28, and 8, 9, and 9, 30, and 30, 31, and those are in those spreadsheets that you'll see after the meeting. I just want to pause here to just share the strategic plan really reflects these shared values and priorities that are immensely clear, and this commitment to students that is in service of all of your wonderful students and staff with whom I've had the privilege of interacting. So I will invite Superintendent Robinson up to talk a little bit about next steps and some exciting things in terms of how this will be communicated should you approve it this evening.
So we are almost at the end, and this is like our launch plan of what we're going to do. So our welcome back ceremony, that is when I'm going to share it kind of more in detail with our whole staff, which will be in August. My opening message which is in the Bucks bulletin, will also have a lot of information about our strategic plan. More than likely, the year in review that we put out will also have a touch point of our strategic plan in there as well. Planning on getting with Charles Nelson, and we'll do some sort of nice video of it to share out with the community. We'll have posters created and sent out in all of our buildings and probably some of the businesses too. And then we're just going to leverage our plan, that one pager that you all have in front of you, with our businesses. And as I'm talking with different groups, I can easily hand that to them, and they'll have our goals right in front of them. Hopefully they'll keep them and post them in their office for future reference. So at that point, yeah, we have a nice plan. This has been some exciting work, very deep, detailed. The team has worked really hard. There was a lot of splitting up and working into smaller groups with this work, and then coming back together, going through what we've put out, and kind of as a group, redlining some things as well. So very, very, very heavy lift with that. And that started way back in March, a whole year ago. So at this point, this does finish our presentation. We do want to set aside some time for your questions. I know I saw some of you writing some things down, and you're going to have all of the questions for the team. So we're ready.
Mine isn't a question so much as I've already noticed a lot of this being referenced in our committee meetings, so it's top of mind and it's already being incorporated into the work, so it's nice to see it being meaningful work that's already being used. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to everybody that's participated. It's a long year, I know. I was just going to say everybody, even board members and the extra time given. Just listening tonight, and again, I reiterate, Katie says, in our different committee meetings, we've already heard some of this stuff. Patricia Robinson has been really good at just letting us know what was kind of going through, but it's nice that it aligns with a lot of stuff that we've contributed already. So it's pretty neat to see the outcome. I like all the hearts, by the way. A lot of emotional heart. I think that's important. So I like to see that with everything else that was important. But.
Yes. So at this time, I know we'd like to recognize some of our team members who were part of the full 2-day strategic plan, as well as the core group. Your work does not go unknown. We definitely appreciate you. Jenny Brackett, one of the board members, she was there right there with us. In the dirt, in the nitty gritty of things. So we definitely appreciate you, Jake, as well, and his candor at the strategic planning meetings.
Like his photo.
I know his photo. I know. So it's really nice having board members step out and be part of those groups, and it does not go unknown. And people really talk about us being a team. So we'll take this time, and I'll hand it over to Katie so that we can recognize you all and your work.
Oh, nice. Yep. We do have certificates. I'm going to read the names of those that aren't here, and then we also have certificates that we'll hand to all of you that are here. So thank you to the group, Kelly Smith, Paula Witherow, Charlotte Singer, is that right? Braden Ramey, Holly Martin, Jordan Haynes, Jeannie Harris, Jennifer Fierro, Stacy Dennison, Callie Campbell, Nate Babcock, and Shay Allison. And then those of you that are here, do you mind handing? Yep. Oh, I guess I'll
so
read
you
them.
wanna read 'em and then hand 'em?
Sorry, not thinking ahead. Lacey Payne, Ruth Ryder, Patricia Robinson. Phil is up in the booth, so we'll give him his later. Casey Macbeth, Lisa Gregory.
To make them all come and take a picture.
Yep. Jake Brown, Jenny Brackett, and Tori Almer. And if we can do a group photo, that's probably a good idea. Thank you.
Phil, are you able to come down so we can get a group photo?
Phil, you can run, but you can't hide. Come on down.
You can see him, mad science.
Spell to change that background real quick. But so you can all squish it here. You saw me running. I don't want to be in the way.
Oh, here he comes.
Hooray!
Do you have his over by you? Oh, yeah. Here you go, Phil.
Thank you, sir. It's even shiny.
It's shiny.
You said the Photoshop it, Michelle. Jenny?
Yes. Would you like this in the
no,
background?
Rachel, I'm not seeing you so much. I don't want to sit in the middle. Right there.
You can edit that out.
All right, we're good.
Thank you. Mine was down anyway.
Chris, did you have a question?
Nope.
No?
Then I have one last presentation for Rachel. Rachel, we just want to show our appreciation to you. We know you're a hired facilitator. However, we did not feel that way. You ingrained yourself as a buck. You even ate walking tacos. So for that, we thank you. Thank you for the work. Thank you for spending a whole year with us. We know this is great work, and we are going to be successful at it because we had a great facilitator. So thank you.
I am just going to share briefly, because at the beginning I thought, oh, do I share this or not? But it was a true story that my husband said last night. We were debriefing our days, and he said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, I'm coming out here. And he said, oh, aren't you excited? You're finishing strategic planning. And I said, no, I'm really sad. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, it makes sense. You've had a great time there and everything. But part of what makes your community so special, and we've had a lot of back and forth dialogue, and I guess it's okay, I'm hearing other people say Trish, so I'm not going to call you Superintendent Robinson right now. Trish and I have, spent hours together and debriefed and so forth, and one of the things that makes your community so special is you treat everyone like family. And one of the amazing things is you're small, but you're mighty. And so I've been amazed at, just in terms of the resources that you've kind of double dipped with different people doing 2 jobs instead of 1, and doing what you need to do to get things done. But I've never felt that for a minute has slowed a single thing. It's just been amazing, and sometimes faster. So it's just been a real honor, and thank you. And I genuinely am sad, and maybe I'll come back for that spelling bee, so who knows? Or the farm day.
Right.
Please, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead. Thank you all. We are on to the information reports and new business. First, we have the bond oversight update. And Chris, do you mind talking about it?
Yeah.
For the
So this is going to be a standing agenda item, but the Facilities and Finance Committee did meet February 26th for the district. Trish, Scott, David, and Phil, and for the board, Katie, Jake, and myself. As far as the bond, we decided to create and post an RFP to find a new architectural firm. And it's, hopefully we get a lot of responses, and as a committee, we'll kind of weed through those and with some sort of a metric. And then during that same meeting, we had some brief updates on possible projects from David, and then a small piece just of how meetings may look moving forward. Scott brought some great ideas with him from his past experience, so looking forward to those. And one thing moving forward, that used to be an ad hoc meeting. Moving forward, now it's going to be a monthly meeting set. So they should be a finance or facilities update every month now.
Mm-hmm.
Good, which aligns with the strategic plan of making sure we're doing it. Yeah, good. Thank you. Any questions on that? All right, next, the Human Resources Committee meeting on March 4th.
I'll take that. So the HR committee met on March 4th. It was Katie, Trish, Kelly, myself, and Scott. We also had a guest for the first part of that meeting, Phil Place. I almost said Phil Brackett. Sorry.
It's okay if you did.
And Phil really talked to us quite a bit about email and drive access, and how that is decommissioned as people retire, as students leave the district, things like that. So that was a lengthy but informative discussion. We then also discussed resignations and new hires, and then the open positions that are there's only 3 or 4. There were only 3 or 4, and so we were really excited that is a low number as well.
And I think another point of pride during that meeting was the fact that none of those were the certified positions. So a lot of districts struggle getting those filled, and we've been able to continue to fill them. So, all right, questions? Trish, the superintendent and Buck parent conversations?
Yeah, those conversations are throughout the year. I had the last one on March 12th. At the middle school. So, and that is just really a time parents or anyone can come and see me, share some thoughts, ask me questions that you may have. So it's just really some open office hours. So it's great.
I'll let you keep going on Parent Advisory Committee.
Yep, the Parent Advisory Committee met that same day. We did a follow-up of our previous meeting around information we got from the schools around what they do to help combat bullying. So what the team would like to do is take that, wrap it in a bow, since this becomes almost like a yearly conversation with the parent advisory group, in showing our community what is actually happening in our schools. So I have one of the parents is working on a flyer that'll end up being put in our Bucks blast that'll go out and share with everybody. So that was great work.
And finally, the Curriculum and Programming Committee.
I think I'm taking that one too.
Please.
So that committee met on March 13th. And if I remember, I think I'm remembering everybody. We had Scott Carlin, Kelly, myself, Lacey, and Trish. Did I forget anybody? I think that was everybody. I have to say from the outset, it has been great having Lacey on board. We've really got some organization to all of this now, and a direction and some consistency, so I'm really, really excited about that. She brought to that meeting kind of a guiding principles for this subcommittee so that we can have a consistent, going back to the strategic plan, we can have a consistent way as we're working through different things regarding curriculum. We also talked a little bit about, let's see, how change management, how we'll be discussing different curriculum things as they're coming up with the departments, using the new strategic plan to lean on, which is great. And then we did talk a little bit about the upcoming social studies curriculum adoption. And then we also talked a little bit about 5 teachers becoming ESL certified through a Title II grant. Right, Title II.
Good job.
So that's great. And then we also have several that are going to be working, or we're going to be working towards getting letter certification for people as well.
That's good.
All right, thank you. Next, we have public comment, and I don't believe we have any cards, so just making sure we haven't missed one from anyone that's here, and we will move on to the adoption of the consent agenda.
The Board of Education approves the consent agenda items for the regular meetings of March 16, 2026, and the rest as presented.
Support. Questions, comments? That does include the regular meeting, the closed session on February 23rd, the treasury and expenditure reports, and the recommendations for hiring. We had a lot of coach hires, so Michael Beasley for the men's golf coach, Jeff Heller for the JV baseball coach, Joshua Kuntz for the varsity assistant track coach, and Nick File for the varsity head football coach. Comments, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Carlin? Oh, sorry. Dr. Burnett? 2 doctors
Yes.
in a row. And Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, next we have the BVA graduation.
I make a motion that upon satisfactory completion of district requirements for high school graduation, the Board of Education hereby approves Buchanan Virtual Academy student Edward Gerlish.
Support.
Questions? Congratulations. And roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. Next, we have the board policy update.
Buchanan Board of Education approves the following policy update, 3304, use of district property.
Support.
Any questions or comments or anything to add on that? All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. Next, we have a 2026 BHS Mackinac Choir proposal for an overnight student trip.
I move the Buchanan Board of Education approves the Buchanan High School Choir overnight student trip to Mackinac Island from May 10th, 2026, returning May 11th, 2026, in accordance with Board Policy Number 5506, under the supervision of Miss Katie Persak.
Support.
Questions, comments?
Have fun.
Excited for them.
It's exciting.
Glad to hear I know the band program has had trips, and so it's great to have something that's an affordable trip for these students that can really start to build some momentum in that program. So I'm really excited to see that again. As a former choir member, I'm really excited to see that.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. All right, next we have the schools of choice.
I make a motion the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education will operate a Schools of Choice program for the available grade level openings as listed below for enrollment into the Buchanan Community School District for the 2026-2027 school year in compliance with the statutory requirements of Section 105 and Section 105C. The window for applications for these openings will be April 17, 2026 through May 15, 2026. Available openings for each grade level at Ottawa, 15 in kindergarten, 5 in first grade. At Moccasin, 10 in second grade, 2 in third grade, and 5 in fourth grade. At the middle school, 5 in each of the 3 grades, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And at the high school, 8 in 8th grade, 8 in 9th grade, 8 in 10th, 8 in 11th, and 5 in 12th grade.
Support.
Questions, comments? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. Final action item is the Public Improvement Fund transfer.
You got one more after that number.
I move the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education approves the transfer of $100,000 from the general fund to the PIF account.
Support.
Any questions?
Questions, comments? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes. And now our final action item is the approval of the 2026 to 2031 district strategic plan.
You're going to have to read it unless somebody
Yep,
else.
I've got it open. I will make the motion, whereas the Board of Education of Buchanan Community Schools recognizes the importance of establishing a clear long-term vision and strategic direction to ensure the academic success and well-being of all students, and whereas the district has engaged in a comprehensive strategic planning process involving stakeholders, including students, parents, staff, and community members to identify core values, mission, and strategic goals, and whereas the resulting 2026 to 2031 district strategic plan serves as a roadmap for instructional excellence, fiscal responsibility, facility improvements, and community engagement over the next 5 years. And whereas the superintendent of the strategic planning committee recommend the adoption of this plan to guide the district's decision-making and resource allocation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Buchanan Community Schools Board of Education hereby formally approves and adopts the 2026-2031 district strategic plan effective immediately. Be it further resolved that the superintendent is authorized to implement the initiatives outlined within the plan and shall provide regular progress updates to the board and the community.
Support.
All right. Questions, comments, additions?
I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Can't wait.
Yeah. Thank you all for the work again on that. Roll call.
Mr. Carlson?
Yes.
Ms. Brackett?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Lesh, yes. Dr. Burnett?
Yes.
And Ms. Berry?
Yes.
Yay.
All right. Any questions or comments from the board members on anything that we haven't already covered?
I think before our next meeting, I wanted to talk about, again, Plow Day at the school farm, April 18th, from 8:30 to 2. Come on out, have a pancake on me. Come see us. That's it for mine.
Also on April 18th, it was in one of the press releases too, but the opening ceremony
yeah.
for the baseball field will also happen that morning. Anything else to cover? All right. Our next meeting is April 20th at 6 p.m. and we are adjourned.